Hello, dear students. Welcome to this Module 7, week number 2. My name is Marta Georgina Enriquez Martinez, and it's a pleasure to be here with you during this week. Hello. Welcome. Eliana and Marco. I can see that on time, just a minute. We're going to start with the presentation that I just created for you. I'm going to start with this information because it's very important to you to try to help you organize your work. And I just want to specify that I'm still working with the checking of the second activity at platform. So today I'm gonna continue and finish. Okay, so try to relax. You're gonna get your grades during this day. I know according to the time there is a different timing, but I'm gonna finish during this day. Okay. In this week number 2, we're gonna be working a little bit with simple past. I already talked to you about this during the last week, and we're gonna just do it in a deeper way. I'm gonna activate the chat and this in my channel, and in that way I'm gonna be checking the comments and doubts and situations you want to express. Well, I'm gonna start with this. Before I continue, I want to express that I've been having some problems to listen to your recording. Why? Because some of you haven't given me the access, and sometimes I need to send some messages like I need permission, and that's gonna spend time for you. So try to check that your specific information, you already checked the steps in this tutorial that I just organized and I just created and I just shared with you during the news forum. So please go to check this video. It's going to help you to know how to share correctly. You're going to take your file and then just put it in the cloud, and then you're going to select or click on the right button, and you're going to get the link to share. You're going to take it from this part, and then you're going to have this menu. So you have to share the link with the ability or the permission to see for the people who have this link. Sometimes this ability is just like restricted, and you need to change this to the ability you want to do to, or do you want to give to the people. In this way, when you see or when you try to help the person to open your file, you're going to put it like the person can see, edit, or maybe download or something like that. You have many options, but you're going to select can see. Okay. And in that way, if you have any problem, situation, just express it. Just a minute, I'm checking the chat. Okay, when you have a problem with this Drive way to share your link, you can do it with Vocado, but this is like the last option, not because it's bad, but it's better to use Drive, because when you go to work, maybe the people that it's working with you, it's gonna ask you for sending emails, sending some formats, some products, some documents, and the way to do it, it's by Drive. So we are trying to practice a little bit the way to do it correctly, so when you go to work, you're going to have the ability to do it like in an easier way. We're going to have our sessions on Monday at this time, according to the timing of Mexico City. And remember, every Monday, okay? So the session purpose for this week is to explain the usage and the structure of the topic simple past in affirmative, negative, and interrogative form. Last week I was telling you that We can mix the past progressive with simple past, and I just try to explain you the way to use it. But today, I'm going to express a little bit deeper so you can use it better. I'm going to specify the usage of the verb to be in simple past because it's different. We have so many different ways to express actions and situations that happen or past. And we have the verb to be, we need to set it in a different or apart to the rest of the verbs. So I'm going to share some basic vocabulary, time expressions, and also the expression used to, which is it's very useful for the simple past. I'm going to clarify your doubts about your activities, and I'm going to start with the simple past. If you have problems or any situation or anything you want to share, you're going to be active at the chat, okay? I'm going to be checking it. And let's start. I'm so happy for having you here because we are in the week number 2. It's the time it's so fast. So please focus on your activities and in the topic. With the simple past, we express actions and things that happen. Well, they started and happened and finished in the past. So when we start with this, we're going to be using 2 types of verbs. We have regular and irregular. We have the regular verbs, which are these verbs have something in common. When I have them in infinitive form and I want to use them in the simple past, sentences or paragraphs or any information I want to express, I just take the verb from the infinitive form and just take it and put it and add ed. They all have the same rule, or it's a similar rule. All the verbs from infinitive, when we transform them by adding ed, that's the change for the simple past. For example, if I have the verb play, jugar, I take it from the infinitive form and then I just put it there in my sentence. And if I just add ed to that verb, I already have the verb in simple past. And that's it, okay? And we have other verbs that are irregular. I mean, they don't have any rule in common. Some verbs don't change. I mean, in infinitive and simple past and in participle, they are just the same. Sometimes change the pronunciation. We have other verbs that only change a letter, and some others are different totally. So we have to learn the irregular verbs by the charts, by singing, by memorizing. But the regular verbs are very easy when you just add ed. If we have a verb that ends with e, we only add the d, and so we have the ed at the end. Okay, I'm going to express a little bit more this information. Here we have an example. I'm going to just put a little bit more of zoom. Okay. Regular verbs are when we have an infinitive form and we just add ed, that verb it's transformed. I mean, play, jugar, played, jugué. Obviously, it depends on the personal pronoun or subject I'm talking about. For example, I can say, I play, yo juego. And if I say, I played, yo jugué. If I want to talk about any other personal pronoun, I use the same system for the regular verbs. I can use these verbs with all the personal pronoun or subjects. And in the regular verbs, if you see here, we have eat, ate, speak, spoke, have, had. So there is no rule, no rule. There is no similar rule there. So you need to learn them by memorizing, singing, and just seeing the structure. When I want to talk about affirmative sentences or statements or things that happened in the past, I'm going to be using the line in the simple past. If you see here, we have an example of our regular verbs. We have answered, asked, called, lived. They are similar with the ed at the end. But if you see in the regular verbs, we have no rule. They are different and they are not similar at all. If you see here, we have the verb go, went. There is nothing in common. we have the verb to be, and in the simple past is was and were. This is a special verb we're going to be studying later. In this way, if you want to express an affirmative sentence about something you did in the past, you're going to use simple past line in this part. You're going to start your sentences by adding subject or personal pronoun, and after that, we just incorporate the verb in simple past. Take it from regular or irregular verbs. It depends on the verb. And then we have the complement. We can just add more information. For example, if I say, I lived in Mexico for a year, yo viví en México por un año. So if you notice here, we have the difference, which is very obvious, right? We have live, which is the verb, and if it already have the E, we just incorporate the D, lived. Okay, that's regular. And if I want to talk in an irregular verb, I can use it. Instead of this, I'm going to write it here. Okay, but if I want to talk in a negative form, there is a change. I won't transform the verb by adding ed or another thing. The important thing in the negative form, we're going to just subject or personal pronoun, and after that, we're going to use an auxiliary. In this case, it's going to be the verb did, but this is auxiliary, so it's not like the verb do. En este caso, vamos a usar el auxiliar did, que sabemos que es el pasado simple del verbo do, hacer, pero aquí no le vamos a dar significado, simplemente lo vamos a usar como un verbo auxiliar, por eso se llama auxiliary verb. ¿Para qué? Esto nos especifica en qué tiempo estamos hablando. Por ejemplo, el did, como es el pasado simple del do, aquí estamos hablando del pasado simple. Entonces, cuando yo agrego el did, ya mi oración sé que es en pasado y que va a ser negativo. ¿Por qué? Porque después de esto sigue el not. I did not. Obviously, if I already have the auxiliary verb with a temporary here, si ya tengo el tiempo verbal en el cual estoy hablando y también tengo la negación, que es el did y el not, obviously my verb doesn't need anything. Entonces mi verbo pues ya no necesita nada. Ya no necesito hacer que termine en ed, ni conjugarlo en el pasado, ni nada, ni si es regular o irregular. Yo solo lo tomo de la forma infinitiva. I just take it from the infinitive form. And my sentence in negative form, it's expressed, I did not live in Mexico for a year. Yo no viví en México por un año. Okay, so I can express that. I have a way to do a contraction. ¿Puedo hacer una contracción? I did not live in Mexico for a year. Yo no viví en México por un año. I can say I did not or I didn't live in Mexico for a year. I can use whatever I want, but respect the instructions of the formative activities. If you see here, when I talk in the negative form, I just take the verb from the infinitive form. I don't transform it. I just take it from the infinitive form because I already have the auxiliary and the negative part, right, with the not, did not. And, okay, here we have an example. I did not live in Mexico for a year. Yo no viví en México por un año. I didn't live in Mexico for a year. Yo no viví en México por un año. Si ustedes se dan cuenta, son el mismo significado con diferente estructura. And when I want to make some questions, I just need to add the auxiliary did at the beginning. It's just like opening my question. So I just take it there and it's did. And after that, I have the subject or personal pronoun. Did you finally have the verb in infinitive? Why? Because I already have the auxiliary at the beginning. I just need to add it like that. I don't have to change anything. So, did you live in Mexico for a year? And finally, we just incorporate the question mark at the end. Did you live in Mexico for a year? ¿Viviste en México por un año? Es una pregunta de afirmación o negación. So, the way to answer these questions are, yes, I did, sí lo hice, o No, I didn't, or I did not, que es lo mismo. This applies for all the personal pronouns. If you see in the simple past, there is no category to change or to, no. The only thing that changes is if it is affirmative, we're going to incorporate the verb regular or irregular. If it is negative, we choose auxiliary did and not. And if it is a question, we start with the auxiliary did and then just incorporate the subject or personal pronoun and finally the verb in infinitive. After that, we have the complement and the question mark for sure. So the only thing that changes when we want to talk about informative questions, cuando tenemos preguntas informativas, the only thing to change is the WH at the beginning. We follow the same structure, seguimos la misma estructura. So we just incorporate WH. Después tenemos el WH, que es, acuérdense que les había hablado de esa categoría de preguntas, que son preguntas informativas, es decir, cuándo, cómo, cuál, por qué. So they start with WH. Ellos empiezan con WH, son como una categoría. If I just add this at the beginning, si solamente inicio incorporándolas a la estructura que les acabo de explicar, the question changes. La pregunta cambia. De ser una pregunta de sí o no, ahora es una pregunta informativa, porque dice, when did you live in Mexico? ¿Cuándo viviste tú en México? So you're going to give information to these questions. Así que la respuesta sería pues prácticamente una oración. I lived in Mexico for a year. Yo viví. Aquí se utilizó el verbo. Cuando yo voy a hacer una afirmación de algo que sí pasó, es cuando yo conjugo tanto a regular o irregular dependiendo del tipo de verbo que estoy hablando. Okay? And we have an example here at platform. Did you go to Sandy's birthday party last weekend? ¿Fuiste a la fiesta de Sandy el fin de semana pasado? Yes, I did. Sí, sí fui. O sea, eso que me preguntas, sí lo hice. I finished my homework on time and I went. Yo terminé mi tarea a tiempo y fui. If you see here, we have two structures. Tenemos dos estructuras. Finished, ed. Este es un verbo regular. And I went. Yo fui. This is irregular. Regular, ed, irregular, went. Why? Because we have the verb go, went. Go is an infinitive and went is in simple past. And we have finished in the base form and finished with ed with the simple past. We have many different ways to express questions with did you go to the supermarket? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Did she live in Mexico for a year? Yes, she did. No, she didn't. It depends on the person or subject or person pronoun they're talking about to express the answer, okay? So in this way, we have was or were. Why? This is an irregular verb. We're going to be setting it in a specific time apart because when we talk about era o estaba, the verb to be in simple past, it's an exception. I mean, you can express the affirmative negative question with a different structure. In this case, you have the verb to be. So when we want to talk about era o estaba, remember, in the present, recuerden que en el presente, with the verb to be, we use am, is, are. Teníamos tres categorías. Am, I am, is, he, she, it is, we, you, they are. Y ahora, esto es en el presente. En el pasado, lejos de ser tres, van a ser solamente dos. ¿Y a qué se refiere esto? I just have a division here. I, he, she, it, was. Eso quiere decir yo, él, ella, eso, era o estaba. Acuérdense que el verb to be tiene dos significados, entonces was o were son era o estaba, cada uno. Es decir, was puede ser era o estaba. I was, yo era. I was a teacher, yo era una maestra. O puede decir, I was at school, yo estaba en la escuela. If you notice, we have the same structure with a different complement. Tenemos la misma estructura, pero el diferente complemento. So, in this way, we have I was happy. Yo era feliz o yo estaba feliz. If I want to talk in a negative form, si quiero hablar en una forma negativa, recuerden que todo depende de los pronombres. Voy a utilizar was para estos 4 de arriba y were para los 3 de abajo. Lo mismo pasa, pero en la forma negativa. In the question mark, the question form, we have was not or wasn't as a contraction. Tenemos una contracción. Puedo decir, I was not happy. Yo no estaba feliz. I wasn't. Yo no estaba porque es contracción. Puedo decir was not or wasn't sad. Yo no estaba triste. Okay, if you notice here. And if I want to talk it with this person pronoun, we weren't or we were not late. Nosotros no estábamos tarde. Okay, so in this way, this is in the affirmative form, was, were, or negative form, wasn't or was not, or weren't or were not. Okay, we have these different ways. After that, we have the questions, and if I want to do an affirmative negative question, I just use the auxiliary. In this case, going to be our auxiliary, was or were. Okay, we don't mix them. We cannot mix them with did. We don't mix them with didn't. We don't mix them. The verb to be has its own form to conjugate. El verbo ser o estar se estudia aparte, porque con los demás verbos vamos a aplicar lo que les acabo de expresar. La estructura afirmativa, si es con verbo regular o irregular, si es negativa, usar didn't o did not antes del verbo en infinitivo. Si es pregunta, utilizar el auxiliar did al inicio y la estructura y el verbo infinitivo. Ah, y si quiero hacer una pregunta informativa, va a ser con WH at the beginning, con WH al inicio. Todo eso luego para todos los millones de verbos que tengo. Pero cuando yo quiero utilizar el verbo ser o estar en pasado simple para el significado era o estaba, tengo que estudiarlo muy aparte, porque es un verbo irregular, es decir, tiene ciertos cambios. Entonces es una excepción importante de aprender. I, he, she, it, was. We, you, they, were. Afirmativo. Era o estaba. Ella era, ella estaba. Tú vas a decir, nosotros éramos, nosotros estábamos. Y si lo quiero usar así, tengo que ver si va con was o con were. Los dos significan lo mismo. Era o estaba. ¿Ok? Lo único que cambia es gramaticalmente porque unos son singulares y otros son plurales. And we have the negative form. En la forma negativa, lo único que hago es a esas dos estructuras de was o were, le agrego not. Y entonces se convierte en was not or wasn't, were not or weren't, ¿ok? And if I want to do some questions, si quiero hacer preguntas, lo único que hago es intercambiar un poquito el inicio. Por ejemplo, they were happy. Ellos eran felices. Aquí es una afirmación. If I want to make a question, si quiero hacer una pregunta, were they happy? And then the question mark. It's important to know that in English, we only use the last question mark. Al final solamente utilizamos el signo de interrogación al final, no al inicio. En el inglés no existe el inicio, ¿ok? We have another example. She was rich. Ella era rica. Then we have just to change. Was she rich? ¿Era ella rica? En la de arriba yo afirmo. She was rich. En la segunda pregunto. Was she rich? And the way to answer it depends on the person pronoun. Y la manera de responder pues dependerá mucho de quién me estén preguntando. Yes, they were, si estamos hablando de ellos. No, they weren't, si es para ellos. Yes, she was, si ella era, o no, she wasn't. No, no era. Eso que me estás preguntando, ¿era o no era? Okay. If I want to make some informative questions, si quiero obtener información de esas preguntas que yo estoy planteando, lo único que hago es a esta estructura, ya sea empezar con was o were, le agrego el inicio de WH word. Le agrego WH al inicio. And that's it. When was she sick? ¿Cuándo estaba ella enferma? So in that way, you're talking in the simple past. Y así, ya estás haciendo una pregunta en el pasado simple. So if you notice here, we have a comparison. Tenemos una comparación. I, he, she, it, was. Y acá en el presente usábamos am, is. Son dos diferentes categorías. Acá se homogeneizan un poquito. Luego tenemos where y luego are. Esa es la diferencia. Las de acá tenemos el presente, que es lo que usábamos al inicio en la semana 1. Y ahora en la semana 2 vamos a utilizar was, where. Okay, that's the category. We can incorporate time expressions like yesterday. Podemos hablar de ayer, last week, la semana pasada, last month, last year, el mes pasado, el año pasado, and many different time expressions. Like this example. I'm glad you finished your homework. Was it difficult? ¿Estuvo eso difícil? Estamos hablando de la tarea. No, it wasn't. No, no estuvo. In fact, it was pretty easy. De hecho, estuvo muy fácil. It. Aquí es como podemos aplicar el pronombre it para objetos, animales o cosas en singular. We have time expressions or expressions for the past tense or simple past tense, and you can incorporate last. The word last with the anytime, like any expression like night, Sunday, week, weekend, year, month, it's like pasado. La noche pasada, el domingo pasado, semana pasada, fin de semana pasado, año pasado y mes pasado. So last es como pasado. Ago es como hace, but we incorporate it at the end. Last at the beginning and ago at the end. 10 minutes ago. Hace 10 minutos. An hour ago, 3 days ago, a week ago, and so on. Ago es como esa expresión de hace, pero se pone al final, después de haber dicho qué cantidad de tiempo pasó, okay? We have yesterday. Yesterday, we can specify the timing, like yesterday morning, afternoon, evening, and the day before yesterday, we can incorporate it too. También podemos incorporar el día antes de ayer, que nosotros utilizamos como la expresión de antier. And we have another expression here, used to. Used to, it's very common, so we use it to express some habits we used to have. And now, we don't do it anymore, maybe, but we have like, I used to drive. Yo solía manejar. So you can use this expression in the simple past. I used to drive. Yo solía manejar. You incorporate the personal pronoun at the beginning to specify the person who developed that action. And then you just take the verb from the infinitive form, because when we put together to and the infinitive form, it changes to are, with the ending. Bailar, jugar, cantar, it depends, okay? So you just take it from, you used to run, tú solías correr. He used to read, él solía leer, and so on. We can continue with this. We're gonna start with affirmative activities. We have the number 1, which is about Elvis Presley. So you're gonna take the verbs in the parentheses. So you're gonna take them and you're gonna try to see if they are regular or irregular verbs. So you're gonna take it and write or complete the text about this biography. And depending on the timing, obviously it's about simple past. You're going to take the verb and you're going to just conjugate it and transform the structure. So please try to find these verbs to the verb charts and try to see if it is regular or irregular verb. In the second part, you're going to complete a conversation and you're going to just, you can use verbs and you can use maybe auxiliaries. It depends. You can use according to the verb to be or all the verbs according to the rules that I just explained to you. We have the interior activity number 3. This is a happy day. So it's very grateful to do this kind of activities because you're going to try to remember the day it was like the happiest day of your life. So you're going to write a 5 to 8 line text explaining the story of your happiest day. And you're going to describe what happened, how you felt, and why you felt that way. You're going to add a picture. It can be either real or illustrative. And remember to respect the rules about the picture or images sharing with the details of the owner of that picture. You're going to answer the questions with a length of 5 to 8 lines. So in this way, you're gonna express why is it important to know about past events. It's very important because we sometimes learn from those experiences, right? So you're gonna include the audio link with the recording, and when you record the happiest day of your life with the experience and the question you're answering, you're going to record both, and then you're going to share the link, and please check that everything is correct. When you want to talk about some specific dates, we have the way to do it. Like, we have to respect the rules. We have the days of the week, months of the year, and the years. But in the expressions, we have to respect that if we're talking about the day of the week, we just use on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the day we want to talk. When it is a date, specific date, we're going to incorporate on September 14th, 2010, Wednesday. Okay, that's the structure. So you're going to use on. If you're talking about a year, you're going to say in 2010. In a month, in a season, or you can talk about a time at 6 o'clock, at 6 in the morning, you're going to express that. It's important to know that the numbers of the days of the week, days of the month, you have to respect the first, second, and third day, because when you express the dates, you're going to use first, if it is the first day, second, third, fourth. And from 4 to 20, you're going to be using TH at the end of each number. And when you try to use again the 21st, you're going to use 21 ST with the ending. 21st, 22nd, 23rd, it repeats. And 24th, and so on to 30. When it is 31st, and you continue with this, you have to respect the numbers with the first, second, and third of each date. And we have an exception with the numbers with 11, 12, 13. They are TH in this case, even if they include the 1, 2, and 3. And another way to express the year, it's important to know that before the 2000, you can divide it into two different spaces, like 1984. Instead of saying 1984, you can say 1984, and that's correct. But if you're expressing 2001, 2002, 2003, and so on, you can continue with this. We have an example here, like if I want to specify the date, it happened on July 20th or 20th, 2021, Tuesday. Remember the number of the month, okay? And the year, we don't incorporate any word or any letter, anything, just like that. But remember to add to the day of the month. And this is the structure. Try to specify July 20th or 20th, 2021, Tuesday. At the end, we have the day of the week. Finally, when you already shared this part of the activity, in the third activity, when you finish with this information, you are going to start with the activity number 4, which is a little bit longer, okay? Because you have to write, hello Ingrid, that's correct. You can express any experience about any moment of your life. There is no problem. We all are different. We have many different situations and experiences, so you are going to express it. Remember, it's important to try to remember the situation, the feelings, and all what we felt, but it's more important to practice So this activity is to practice the verbs in the simple past. So you can identify them, practice them, things, okay? So there's no problem about the experience. If it was the happiest day of your life so far, because maybe in 10 years you have another experience and we don't know. Okay. In the activity number 4, it's gonna be like a little bit emotional because you're gonna know a little bit more about your family. So you're gonna write 10 questions in English and in Spanish. They're gonna be the same. English and Spanish, the same questions, las mismas. Las preguntas en español que yo haga son las mismas en inglés que voy a escribir. Why? ¿Por qué? Sometimes you express the questions and you abuse about the use of translator, and the translator it's not helping you 100% to do the activities. Remember, you have to do your activities, your paragraphs, your text, so in that way you can just like make sure that your idea is clear. If you just take your text from from Spanish to English through translator, maybe your ideas are not going to be like the same of the translator. Ponemos las mismas preguntas en español y en inglés porque algunas veces, que no debería ser lo correcto, se toma solamente el español y se hace la traducción mediante un traductor y ahí se pierde un poquito el sentido porque recordemos que el traductor solamente lo va a hacer literal. Entonces es por eso que yo los invito a que lejos de usar o abusar del traductor, ustedes hagan sus estructuras, sus construcciones de párrafos, oraciones, preguntas y solamente cuando ustedes necesiten saber una palabra, algo del vocabulario, entonces recurran a este tipo de diccionarios o traductores. Y lo pueden utilizar como último filtro, pero es importante que ustedes mismos le vayan dando forma a sus preguntas, porque les decía, se piden las mismas preguntas en español y en inglés por eso, porque a veces yo tengo una idea en mi pregunta, un sentido, y al ponerlo en el traductor cambia totalmente. Entonces a veces no llega a haber una coherencia en cuanto a lo que estoy preguntando. El traductor puede utilizar términos que no van de acuerdo al ámbito o al área que quiero investigar. So we have to be careful with this. Tenemos que tener mucho cuidado con esto. Okay, we have this 10 questions in English and Spanish. And then I'm going to interview a family member. And you're going to think about a person who can give you that information. You're going to ask these questions in English and Spanish. And then you're going to write the answers according to these questions when you already did the interview. You're going to write, if the person doesn't know English, obviously you're going to do it in Spanish, and then you're going to transform those sentences or answers to the English. You're going to have questions in English and questions in Spanish. Then you have answers in English and answers in Spanish. And you're going to do the interview according to the pandemic situation we're living now. You can do it through Zoom, Meet, Skype, Hangouts, WhatsApp, Facebook Time, Google Duo, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Messenger, and you can use all the platforms you already know. You don't have to go to the house of the person. You can do it through this way, or even with a phone call. But it's important to know that the questions are going to be in English and Spanish. You're going to do it. And then after that, when you have all this information already, you're going to explain in a paragraph from 5 to 8 lines the experience you just lived. Some of you are going to be maybe crying, or maybe you're going to be feeling proud of your family, and you're going to be like expressing how you felt. I mean, well, how was your experience by listening your family story in a 5 to 8 line paragraph? So you're going to incorporate this in English. And remember to do affirmative or interrogative. I mean, we're talking about interrogative or informative questions or yes, no questions. You can use both. And when you have all the information from the interview, you are going to organize it. And what are you going to do? You're going to create a timeline, incorporating these events in chronological order. You're going to paste it into the file. If you want, you can just create it and put it in your file, or you can share the link. You can take your file, put it in the Drive cloud. You're going to get the link to share, and then you're going to paste the link. And when I click on it, I'm going to be redirected to the timeline, okay? You're going to add the link where you read the question and the answers, questions and answers in English. I don't need the Spanish at all. I just need the English, okay? And in the last part, we have the learning forum. So you're going to be expressing and requesting information about your activities or situations that occur in the past using the simple past structure. Remember, that's the main topic for this week. You're going to share in the community of Preparing the things that you were doing before entering to this stage of your life and what motivated you to study this modality of high school. So you're going to express a lot of things that happened before. So you're going to be practicing the simple past, and you can incorporate the past progressive too if you want. So it's time to express questions, problems, situations. Okay. Okay, I'm going to express again. It's a long activity. Es que es una actividad un poco larga. Comprendo que se hayan perdido un poquito. Primer punto, you're going to write 10 questions, 10 preguntas. Y esas 10 preguntas las puedo escribir en español y también en inglés. Yo. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Estar recurriendo a diccionarios o vocabulario, perdón, o traductores en línea. No hagan esto de copiar y pegar, no. Traten de ustedes mismos construir las preguntas con la estructura que yo les acabo de explicar. 10 preguntas en inglés y esas mismas hacerlas en español, o ya sea que empiecen al revés. Empiezan en español y las convierten al inglés. El caso es que tienen que tener las mismas 10 preguntas en inglés y en español. ¿De qué se tratan esas preguntas? Pues son con el fin de obtener información de la historia de sus familiares, de la familia en sí. Entonces, quizás ustedes no eran de este país, no eran de esta ciudad, y entonces cómo llegaron, y si alguien, tienen algún familiar que hizo algo heroico, no sé. Entonces, ustedes van a plantear preguntas sobre su historia familiar. Después van a hacer la entrevista a algún familiar. Obviamente, si ese familiar no sabe inglés, pues obviamente lo podemos hacer en español. Y lo que van a hacer es que las respuestas que les dé la persona las van a anotar, a las preguntas que ustedes hicieron las van a anotar y van a convertir esas preguntas en español también al inglés. Es decir, yo voy a tener 10 preguntas en inglés y esas mismas en español. Igual, las 10 respuestas en inglés y las 10 respuestas en español, ya sea que se intercambien. El caso es que ustedes deben de hacer en español y en inglés las 10 preguntas y las 10 respuestas, ¿ok? Después, en un párrafo, si ya descargaron la plantilla, porque es importante que siempre la descarguen, les va a dar un espacio de, es un párrafito, bueno, un espacio para escribir un párrafo en el cual expresen la experiencia que vivieron al estar haciendo esta entrevista a algún familiar. Sí, entonces, ¿ustedes qué sintieron cuando le preguntaron las cosas o cuando supieron la historia de su familia? ¿Para qué creen que nos pudiera servir esto? ¿Qué emociones o sentimientos o no sabías acerca de algo que haya sucedido importante? Aquí les recomiendo que hagan preguntas, como les decía, informativas o también de afirmación y negación. Tú puedes hacer las preguntas de acuerdo a la estructura que acabo de explicar, tú puedes elegir la que quieras, ¿ok? Y les decía que una vez que tú ya tengas las 10 preguntas en español y en inglés, las 10 respuestas en español y en inglés, ya que hiciste el párrafito de cómo te sentiste con la experiencia de escuchar la historia familiar, que ya redactaste ese párrafito de 5 a 8 líneas, vas a tomar la información de las respuestas que te dieron de tu historia familiar y las vas a organizar sobre qué pasó primero. Trata de hacer preguntas como quién nació primero, en qué año se mudaron, cuándo compraron la casa, cuándo tuvieron su primer hijo, cuándo se casaron, para que de esa forma ustedes puedan organizar la información de esas respuestas en una línea del tiempo. Esa línea del tiempo yo les voy a compartir algunas maneras de crearlo en páginas a través del foro de novedades y de hecho se los mandé en las instrucciones en un mensajito, pero de igual forma siempre les voy a estar publicando en el foro de novedades. En este momento lo voy a compartir para que ustedes puedan a través de alguna otra herramienta, alguna otra página o algún recurso, elaborar una línea del tiempo. Lo pueden hacer también en Word. Ustedes van a elegir el formato que se les haga más fácil, en donde ustedes incorporen su línea del tiempo. ¿Qué voy a incorporar? Pues todos los datos que yo obtuve de esa entrevista. Voy a organizar primero qué pasó, luego qué siguió. Obviamente, si van a incorporar frases, debajo de las imágenes o de las fotografías o de los dibujos, porque incluso lo pueden hacer manual, tomarle una foto e insertarlo. Para quienes tienen esa habilidad, a lo mejor, traten de hacerlo en inglés, ¿ok? Cualquier frase, cualquier cosa que vayan a agregar, traten de hacerlo en inglés para yo poderles evaluar, ¿ok? Si hay alguna, corregirles alguna reglita ortográfica o demás. Y por último, van a grabar solamente las preguntas en inglés con las respuestas en inglés que obtuvimos, ¿ok? De sus familiares. And that's it. Is it clear? ¿Si está un poquito claro o no sé? No, díganme si tienen dudas porque es el momento, ¿ok? Ahorita que vamos iniciando. Ujú. Sí, tienen que ser las mismas. Ajá, exacto, así es, Ingrid. Todos los detalles que sean importantes para ustedes en la historia familiar. Recuerden que estamos tratando de conocer un poquito más allá de nuestras familias, ¿verdad? That's it. Any other question, problem, situation, alguna otra duda, situación, problema que ustedes tengan? Sé que a lo mejor ahorita todavía no tienen quizá la duda como tal, porque quizá apenas van a iniciar en la construcción, pero es importante que ustedes, cualquier duda, situación, problema o lo que sea, a través de plataforma o el correo, me la hagan saber, porque así yo les puedo dar una orientación puntual y sobre todo en orientación, si quieren algo de pronunciación, también puedo verificarles. Es decir, ustedes están prácticamente acompañados, no se sientan solos, ¿ok? So, if there is no question or problem, voy a checar si hay alguna duda, problema. Okay, let's check. Okay, no question, no problems. I'm checking. No, no tienes por qué disculparte, Ingrid, al contrario, gracias, porque eso quiere decir que estuviste poniendo atención a lo largo de la sesión y que además las dudas son siempre, siempre aparecen cuando nosotros queremos hacer las cosas bien, entonces no hay problema, al contrario, estamos para orientarlos, no están solos y sé que el aprendizaje de un idioma pues quizá parezca complejo y al inicio quizá lo sea, pero con la práctica sé que lo van a lograr, ¿ok? Thank you so much for your attention. Por mi parte, chicos, esto ha sido todo. Quiero agradecerles y de verdad no se detengan. Cuando ustedes tengan dudas, con toda confianza, yo para eso estoy, para orientarlos, tratar de desenredarlos un poquito si es que en dado caso yo los enredé también. Y sé que a lo mejor en cuanto a la comprensión del idioma, quizá también esa sea un poquito una barrera que tengamos, pero poco a poco nuestro oído tiene que estarse familiarizando. Por eso es que yo trato de mezclar un poquito lo menos que pueda español, pero sí, poco a poco sé que van a ir comprendiendo un poquito más. Quiero agradecerles por su atención, quiero reconocer su esfuerzo, su respeto y sobre todo pues el interés porque ustedes son las personas principales que hacen todo, ¿no? Son quienes hacen el proceso, quienes aprenden y nosotros solamente vamos orientando, diciendo hacia dónde. Ustedes son quienes hacen todo, así que el reconocimiento es para ustedes, ¿ok? Muchas gracias, chicos. See you on Monday. Nuestras sesiones van a estar siendo los días lunes a esta hora que acabamos de iniciar. No me queda más que agradecerles y quedar a su disposición. Saben que no están solos a través de los mensajes de correo o puede ser a través de plataforma. Cualquier duda, situación, con toda confianza e igual aclararles que el día de hoy queda culminada la segunda actividad de la semana 1, ¿ok? En cuanto a evaluación. Tengo 25 actividades pendientes. Entre esas, si no has recibido retroalimentación, el día de hoy lo vas a recibir para dar culminada la semana anterior y pues dar inicio a la evaluación de esta. Ok, see you soon. It was a really pleasure to be here. Fue un placer, chicos. Hasta luego.